Attention, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Bean Mobile Podcast. We are here with special guest
Ben Shapiro.
Ben
Yeah.
Shapiro.
Today. We're going to be talking about a few things. We're going to be talking about music, and then we might go into a bit of a debate.
Yeah.
That's something new. I don't see that very often on podcasts, so let's get right into it. Ashton, take it away.
All right, so as I've gone through and thought about a few topics to talk about, the first one of them being music, what are your guys' thoughts on the new 207 Toby tracks, labels, and I don't know the name of the second one, but what's your guys' input?
First
Is that even
time
considered
hearing
music?
it. Yeah. First time hearing it, I was like, "What the hell is this?" Just, I mean, I just had to turn it off. I couldn't even listen to the whole thing.
I will say the newest one isn't as bad as some of the other ones, but it's
yeah.
still pretty bad.
I can agree with you on that one, but yeah, I'd agree with both of the statements you just made. Still,
You know,
still
I
pretty
didn't-
bad.
I honestly did not give it a full listen, but I only gave it maybe 15 seconds and I kind of shut it off. But you know, nothing towards the people that made the song or the beat or that produced it. I think it's just the people in general that are on the track. I think that they
I think they just talk into a microphone.
Well, yeah, they should try singing.
and they're not
Yeah.
musically talented. They don't have any music theory. I feel like I mean, you have to have some to know what you're doing because you need to
Yes.
stay on time. That's
Yeah.
the thing with all
Yeah.
these people. They're
Timing.
so
Going
offbeat and
offbeat.
off time.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's like, what's the point?
Yeah, I get that. Because, that's also why I didn't really give it a full... I didn't give it a full listen. I listened to a bit of it, but I didn't give it the full
Yeah, but
listen.
what are they using too? Probably GarageBand, just for all their
No,
stuff.
I'm pretty sure they're
they
using
use-
Pro Tools.
Did they
Yeah,
use
they
something
use,
like
they
good?
use no,
Yeah.
they use really good equipment. They're just
Okay,
not, they're just
yeah.
not musically talented.
Well, then they have all that good stuff, but they make just trap beats. Why not try to make something better, like an instrumental
Yeah.
type?
Also, another
Like
going off of
R&B.
that, going off of that, all rap beats that come from teenage high schoolers, it all sounds the same.
It's like the
Everyone.
baby.
All those friggin' SoundCloud
Hey,
rappers.
don't hate on the baby.
No,
Baby's
it's
pretty
just
good.
yeah, the beats are good, but it's just so simple.
But
Yeah.
DaBaby does it way better.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on the Toby tracks?
Well, not really. I don't
Um,
listen to rap that much.
Just get
'cause
your
I don't
shit
like
together.
it.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Honestly, all the stuff with Jack Black is pretty good. 'Cause he
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
Yeah,
was,
he's
but
actually,
Other than that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we move on to the next topic?
Sure.
Sure. Why
Yeah.
not?
All right. So I have a few kind of categories inside this one, but we're going to have a little bit of a political debate.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Caleb, try to hold your try not to go or be bad.
All right.
All right. First topic. Death penalty. What are your
What about
thoughts? Should all 50 states legalize it, or should they get rid of it?
yeah, an eye for an eye. If you kill someone, you get killed.
Caleb?
How about Aiden?
Well, the eye for an eye thing doesn't make sense, right? Because it's who's actually doing the killing? It's not just one person, right? So
What do you mean? The killing of who?
Oh, never
No,
mind.
he's
Okay,
saying like someone
Yeah,
who kills
yeah,
someone
yeah.
should be
Never mind.
killed.
So he's agreeing with it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I agree with it. I think the death penalty.
Yeah.
Because people that get on parole, they do horrible things, and they get on parole for having quote unquote good behavior in jail. They get out and
they
then
get out way sooner than
kill a bunch of people, and what the hell?
All right, Caleb, your thoughts?
Well, you know, I've never really gotten into this. Really, I've never really
Yeah,
looked at any
it's an interesting
research or
topic.
anything. But I mean, yeah, I think I don't know. It's either get locked up for your whole life or just die.
That's
I think
fair,
you should
that's
have the
fair.
choice to either be locked up or
we-
let yourself go.
We can narrow this down to murder, specifically.
Yeah, homeless. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you see,
Homicide.
this is why
Homicide.
I don't think it should be jail for life. 'Cause that's just wasting taxpayers' dollars just to keep them in there, and they're just gonna die in jail anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So you might as well get them out of the way and stop
Yeah.
wasting money on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah.
But then, well, I don't know.
Any final thoughts?
I mean, don't waste our money.
And killing people is just fun anyway, so you might as well kill off the people who already killed people. So.
Yeah. Wise words from
That's
Blaine
great.
Chase.
That's great, Blaine. That's
Thank
great.
you. Thank you for that.
All right. 1 second.
Like I had something to say, but my dad walked in the room.
All
Completely
right.
threw me off
Here's-
topic.
Here's like a bit of a big one that I've kind of heard about a little bit. What do you guys think about like the Confederate flag? Like people who like wear like okay, so like I'm talking like people who wear it to school, people who have it as their backgrounds, and then
Or like on their truck.
people who and then on their truck, just like anything like that, like almost like free endorsements, because like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I want to hear your guys' thoughts first.
I mean,
I
it
feel
goes
like-
along with like freedom of speech. Like you
Yeah.
should be able to do that. I mean, even if you don't agree with it, like it's basically freedom of speech. So they can believe in whatever they feel like.
Yeah, and it's part of our history, actually, kind of. So I mean,
That is true too.
why would you want to repeat history? Because history always repeats. That's why we get taught all these history lessons and shit. So
I feel like the people like wearing these or putting them on like their trucks or something, or like have the flags. They don't like they're not racist. They're not trying to be racist, but it's more like the
if you do it
freedom
just to make a
standpoint.
point, then what's
Yeah.
the point? That's what annoys me.
And a lot of people who do it don't actually know what it like.
Yeah,
stands
they're
for.
like,
They
okay,
do
yeah,
it so
dumb
they
like
can
yeah,
go to
hillbillies.
school.
So that's like where my opinion stands. Is like if you're actually like if your family like is like a descent of like a white
Plantation
and
owners,
if that's actually like 100% what you believe in and you raise the flag on your own private property, I don't care. But like kids who go to school and wear it, like I asked a few of them the other day. I'm like, what do you think that stands for? And they're like, they literally thought that the Confederate flag was it stood for what the 13 colonies flag actually stood for. They were like, oh no,
my God.
it means freedom for the first like 13 states they were fighting for. I'm like, no.
Well,
They come in like way
what
later.
that's what the Southerners believed in.
Yeah,
the
the
Southerners
that
believed in
flag.
After they
Like
seceded
during the
from
Civil
Union.
War.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's kind of dumb when
Or
people.
isn't it like a thing like free will? You know, like since they receded from the Union,
Well, yeah, because like
being like free of choice,
well,
or
okay,
like
so
how they want to rule.
outside of like that, like the flag itself literally stands for a rebellion and like
Yeah,
we're gonna
yeah.
do what we want if you don't let us.
Mhm.
That's pretty accurate.
And you see like people holding them up by Confederate statues and people hating on them, but they try to explain like I'm not holding up because like slavery. I'm holding it up because of, like what you just said.
Yeah,
But nobody's willing to listen to that.
No.
Once they see it, they just think like racism.
yeah. But
Although I would never have it.
Again, it's still
Yeah.
like a symbol.
Oh
of
yeah,
racism.
yeah,
Like,
for sure, for sure.
I still also don't understand how it's affiliated with the Cummins truck brand, but that might just be me. And also most of them that wear it drive Toyota friggin' Tacomas, like 04 Toyota Tacomas.
Oh, bro.
They get out in their cowboy boots. And they're wearing a Cummins sweatshirt, but that's besides the point. All right, next topic. What do you think about the whole? This is kind of older news, but the whole Trump impeachment thing. What were you guys like? What do you think about that whole thing and how it went down? Like, not like more specifically, how it went down.
Well, I don't really know enough about it to really
Yeah, I
say
never
anything.
like researched it
Yeah.
ever.
I mean, same for me,
I
but I
agree
think
with
it was
most of
just
the
a
things he
waste of
does.
time.
Yeah.
I don't think it was worth the time to go through that if we all knew that he was just going to stay in anyway because the Democrats weren't going to get enough votes.
Okay, yeah,
Or whatever.
So I'll try to explain to the best of my ability so you guys can understand. So they tried to impeach him under two different articles, right? The big one being, I'll just stick to like the big one, which was obstruction of Congress. I
Mhm.
can't remember the exact reason why they did, but that was the one that they passed because that was the one they thought they could get him impeached on, which they partially did, not fully impeached, removed out of office, right? Everybody knows that. So all that was going on, right? So they got it through the first part with no problem because that was all Democratic voters. But then when the bill got to the Senate, right, it got immediately shut down. But also, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but actually Nancy Pelosi, who's the Speaker of the House and also a Democrat, held on to the bill and didn't pass it through until the Republicans would like do the vote the way she wanted, which is actually an obstruction of Congress, which is a rule
Yeah.
that they were trying to impeach Trump for, which kind of doesn't make sense to me because like
Well,
they
it's-
can.
Yeah, and it's just crazy because they try to flag him for things that he's never done or things that
Exactly.
he's never said, and they just think that he's a horrible person. When really, you
Exactly.
know,
And also
sometimes he may be kind of like whack in the office. You know,
Yeah.
he's done good things, he's done bad things, just like every president. But
yeah, and
it's
also
just for some reason people seem to hate him.
yeah, and also like a thing I've never wait hold on. I just lost what I was gonna say.
I'm gonna look this up real quick.
Yeah, just say something while I try to.
I think it's I don't know. I mean, I think the press is just trying to. They're just going so hard on him. Like,
They've always
They-
gone hard on him.
I know. Like, Trump.
Okay.
I've heard about this from like many articles and stuff. That's like not left, like not like written by the left, but like
Leftists.
they, yeah,
The
they
term,
like
the term for the left is liberal.
yeah, I know.
That's not an
I
offensive
just like
term.
the left, but well, I don't like the left actually, but. Okay. They just they twist his words and they
Yeah,
it's like it gets annoying
Mhm.
after a while because they just get shut down so many times after getting
exactly.
And they
Sure,
don't
he
accept being
doesn't
shut
do the-
down
yeah.
Also,
either.
yeah, another thing that I've kind of noticed. This is what I was gonna say earlier, but like, if you ask anybody who says Trump is a racist, not everybody. Some people, there are like maybe one or two examples of a time he might have been, but like most people in like your average like high school who say Trump is bad.
Yeah, have you heard
if you-
our live streams?
if you
Yeah.
if you ask people like why they think Trump is racist, they had never have an answer. Like they can't tell you. They
Well,
just say
there's
Trump's
absolutely nothing though, like to bring up, really.
Because
they don't-
95% of the high school students who have political views don't actually do their own
It's their
research and
pa-
just
it's-
do
it's-
whatever their
it's
brain
the,
Yeah,
it's the
wants.
little
yeah.
tiny
By their
bits and
parents
pieces
or
they
their
hear
teachers.
either on the news, Apple Spotlight News, or their parents.
Or
And
the
that's what
teachers
all
as
Or the
well,
teachers
because
who
Yeah.
try and
teachers try to
brainwash you.
influence us
Mr.
with
Rand.
different opinions. Yeah, like Mr. Rand
Mr. Rand, Mrs.
and
Richards, Mr.
Mrs.
Kimball.
Richards, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, Miss Richards is a really good example because I tried like multiple
Have-
times to say like, okay, maybe she is a good teacher, but every time you can like. The whole year we were not allowed to have a conversation about Trump, yet we had a
Mhm.
mock Democratic caucus, like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
which made no sense to me. How you can make us do a mock Democratic caucus?
At least be neutral about it.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah,
That's what
That's
teachers
how-
and
are
when
supposed to
when
do.
you
They're
tried
not
to write
supposed to
about Trump, she just
say
shut you
everything.
down and gave you 0 on the paper.
exactly. Yeah.
Remember that?
I wrote
Even though he was a presidential candidate.
the requirement was 3 pages. I wrote 10 fully, like, and I even like went into great detail, and
Mhm.
I didn't
Yeah.
pass it. I was like, well, but anyways, that's why, even though like some people don't like Mr. Wellman that much, like me personally, that's why like him and Mr. Thornton, those are like
Yeah,
I like those
very
guys so-
open-minded.
because they play devil's advocate for everything you say, and they do it really well because they're super
Mhm.
smart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Any final thoughts on this topic?
Don't be brainwashed, I guess.
Yeah,
It
that's
can-
Yeah,
Yeah,
always
it
just try
can-
to do your own
make sure you have your
research.
own your own
Mhm.
opinion.
And
And
don't
it can
let
also-
other people change
And
it.
if you want to have like the same opinion as someone else, make sure you do your own research first so you can back it up.
Mhm.
It
Yeah,
does
just
also
try to
go
be
the other way
open-minded.
too, though. Like people who say, "Oh yeah, Trump is perfect. He never does anything wrong." That's not
No,
true
yeah,
either.
that's
Yeah.
Like the way
Yeah.
he's handling the whole coronavirus right now, I would say isn't the best he could be doing, but he has done plenty of good things too.
like, and a lot of people you see at gay pride rallies, stuff like that, they're like, oh, Trump hates us, but one of the first things he said in his presidential like candidate election, like running for president, was that he was going to support LGBTQ communities, and that's exactly what he's done. That's like one of his main things.
Yeah.
Isn't he the one who allowed for like transgender people
Yes.
to be in the military?
hmm He allowed so many things for them. It's crazy, and he's such a huge supporter of them as well. But I guess people don't see that because they don't do their research. And
Yeah. This
because they get brainwashed by the
Yeah.
left.
we won't go like too deep into this next one, but like going along with Trump and like all the like people like I'll give a tiny example for like our science class. We were talking about it, and it was how Trump pulled out of the what was it? The climate. It was something about
the climate change thing,
Yeah,
and like
it
you have to
was-
like
I'm trying to think of the name of the bill.
you have to like pay money if you do certain things or
But
something
yeah,
like
the
that.
deal was gonna run out anyway, so he just pulled out now, and then everyone was saying, "What is he trying to kill us or something?" Like in our class, and I was like, "Do you?"
Yeah, climate change denial.
Yeah, it was something.
Trump's biggest. They call it Trump's biggest vulnerability.
It was something like I can't
Because
remember.
it's definitely something a lot of people don't agree with him
I
on.
can't say too much about it because I can't remember exactly word for word what
Mhm.
it was, but
The
I got
Paris
Google
Agreement.
pulled up right now. I'm trying to look at stuff.
Yeah, it's the Paris Agreement signed in 2016.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And actually, 2016 was that signed under Obama or Trump?
I think it was signed under Obama.
Okay.
What
Signed
was
in
that?
2016, it was negotiated by representatives of 196 state parties
Oh, okay.
by the United Nations and adopted
we're
by
on the
consensus
topic-
on December 12th, 2015.
While we're on the
Um, Okay. Yep.
While we're on the topic, Caleb,
While we're
Yeah.
on the topic, what are your guys' thoughts about climate change? Real or fake?
It's definitely
real,
real.
but people don't have as much effect on it as people are saying. If you look
Yeah.
throughout history, there's been rises and falls through all of
Like the
history.
Ice Age and
Yeah,
Exactly.
the Ice Age, and
now
there's been
like
multiple
even
mass
if people
extinctions.
weren't alive and there were no like CO2 carbon emissions stuff like that, the world would pretty much be doing the exact same thing it's doing now. Like
Yeah.
the
It
polar
would
ice
be a
caps would be
tiny bit
melting.
slower.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Not
that's
very
slower,
much
of
slower,
course,
that's
yeah.
how
a
I
little bit
view it.
slower.
Yeah, it's real.
Because it happened after the dinosaurs as well,
Yeah,
like Ice Age and
yeah. Because it's not. They're making it like the media is making it seem like humans. They're making it seem like every time you litter, it's bringing the like temperature up like
yeah.
0.01 degrees or something. Like it just I made that up, but like that's what they're like making it. They're making it a lot bigger than it actually is. And I
Oh,
like
you just dropped a cigarette on the ground. Congratulations, you killed 35 penguins.
yeah, and like for example, for example, but also like 15% of all greenhouse gases come from cows. Like
Yeah, because of the methane that they fart
Yeah.
out.
exactly. Oh, that's a fact though.
I mean, yeah, I agree with all that, and there's definitely proof that humans have contributed to it, but it's not all us.
Yeah.
It's natural causes.
Yeah.
It's not.
In the past 20 years, it's been, I think it was like 5 or 6 degrees warmer. In the past like 20 to 25 years. Like that's all. Which is just, crazy of how slow it's going and how, we definitely have time to control it now.
But
And
also,
like you guys
I
were saying
feel like-
earlier, there was definitely like increases and many decreases, like
Mhm.
naturally.
mhm.
So I mean,
Before humans were even around, like
this is
Yeah.
probably just one of those natural increases right now, and
It
then
is.
soon there's going to be a decrease.
yeah.
Yeah. Any final thoughts?
I think we're good.
Oh, wait. So there's this video I saw of this like starving polar bear like walking around,
Yeah.
and people were like, "Oh, like this is horrible. This is climate change. Look at all the ice; it's melting." Even though it was in
Mhm.
summer, and all the ice and snow was melting, and turned out it was a really, really old and sick polar bear.
Yeah, but also what
So it
what-
wasn't
what you have to
starving at
remember-
all, and just
Yeah, what you have to remember
Trying to
about polar
brainwash
bears though
people.
is that they live not always, but most of the time they live in like isolated, like almost like kind of like islands, not really, but
Mhm.
and so when food is limited and you're an apex predator, nothing kills you, but you kill everything. Eventually, you're gonna run out. Like nothing's gonna go back to where like
Yeah.
near you, and you're not gonna be able to find food. And when you only eat like meat, that's hard.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, and like
it's
where there's only meat friggin' available, because
yeah.
Yeah, but like brown bears and black bears are omnivores, so berries, plants, and like fish
Mhm.
and other animals.
Mhm.
That's definitely a way better diet than just polar bears.
Well, I feel like polar bears would be omnivores if they
If they
could.
if they
If
could
they-
adapt
if they
the
were
climate,
plants
if they were
around
and
there.
if they because if they were
Yeah.
set up in the same situation where black bears and brown bears and all that were, and
Yeah,
there
there's
was
just no plants for them to eat, so they
Yeah.
couldn't develop that.
yeah, it's all about what's available.
Oh,
any final thoughts?
Nope.
All right. The next one, maybe the final one. I don't know. Depends on if you guys want to keep going. But the final one I have
All
is gun control.
Mm-hmm.
What are your
Interesting
rights?
topic.
What are your thoughts?
So off from Blaine.
Well, based off what the
Read the
Second Amendment
Constitution.
says, based off
Yeah.
what the Second Amendment says, we should be able to have every single gun. But at the same time, I don't think like that's reasonable. Like based off
Why?
what the laws are now, we can have any gun. But I feel like that should be changed. 'Cause,
But
like,
they've outlawed
They've
so, like,
outlawed
automatic
certain- yeah.
rifles and
Yeah, I know, but like most guns, you do not need to hunt or protect yourself.
but there's also no like limit, so you can have a pistol, but you can have a 100-round mag in the pistol as well.
Yeah.
No, they
So-
have a limit on that. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure it's a 30-round mag is your max.
Mhm.
I think that's some. Yeah.
Oh
But
yeah.
they're like, so gun control. I think you should definitely be allowed to have guns, no questions asked. That should not be taken away. But what I don't agree with is like, yeah, people like shouldn't be allowed to have like fully automatic bump stock like AK-47s just like
Well, they can't have those. They can only have semi-automatic,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
bullet per
Well,
trigger
that's
pull.
that's fine.
But
That's fine. If you have a semi-automatic and you're
But that still does a lot of damage too.
but well, anything can do a damage. I
Yeah.
could go and kill someone with a frying pan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't outlaw those.
That's a good point.
Literally, this is what I don't like when people blame the guns for the shooting.
Yeah.
It's not the gun doing the
Mhm.
damage; it's the person behind the gun.
Or the person with like mental.
It doesn't matter
disability.
how many bullets it can shoot, how much damage it can do. It doesn't matter. It's a bullet. It's gonna probably kill you. So
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
yeah.
Like, it's just like.
But yeah, it doesn't matter if it's like a musket shot or like a sniper rifle. Each shot's most likely going to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
A pistol could do just as much damage as a friggin' AR-15 if you wanted to. It can kill just as many people.
Yeah, but the thing people fail to look at is the people actually like getting the weapons and like people with
background
mental
checks.
disabilities. Well, no, it's normally like
It's all mental
the mass
disabilities.
shootings. It's like kids in high
There's
school.
there's
They get their
no help
parents'
for mental
guns.
health anymore.
Yeah,
That's
that
why
steal
we
their
need-
parents' weapons and aren't
That's
on,
why
like,
we need the parents to
meds
have
and-
better background checks and have
Exactly.
a safe for the weapon.
Exactly. That's why.
Because that's
And
that's
like
the
if you have
parents'
a kid
fault
with
if
a
it's
mental
not locked
disability,
up.
then
exactly
like-
stronger background checks. Like that's a big one. Like how I think of it, if you have like a felon that like it's any harm to anything, you should not be allowed to own like, a
Mhm.
weapon, a gun.
that's one thing I agreed with Pete Buttigieg.
Yeah.
It was universal background checks for
Yes,
guns.
exactly.
That's one thing I really agreed with.
I believe Cory Booker wanted the same.
Yeah,
Because it's like you can't just
because he was big about guns.
because you can't just take away guns, like because that's just
yeah.
that's gonna lead to more violence. People are just gonna start raging.
Yeah.
It's just
they-
like when they took away alcohol,
Exactly.
crime rate went way up.
Yeah. Because they thought it would go down. It
Mhm.
kind of goes back to that, like history repeats itself.
Mhm. Yeah. But just with different situations. Same outcome.
And I don't think it just needs like gun control. I think we need to do more mental health stuff. Like I feel like we need to bring
not-
back sanatoriums.
I have done research though, not all like. It's kind of like I don't know, but it's not all mental illness people like.
No,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
not all of them,
Yeah.
but that would definitely help more
Yeah.
than taking guns away.
Mm-hmm.
Or
would
just
help with
prescribing
other
people with
things, too.
lithium.
And
Yeah.
then even if it's
And bring back sanatoriums and like keeping them locked up so that like until they can fix them instead of
Or
just
to get
letting
like
them wander out in
serious
public.
help.
Yeah. It would fix other problems too, not just guns. Like the whole transgender community, like that's all a mental illness. It's not real or anything. Like it's all a mental illness. It's proven facts.
Definitely a
It's-
touchy subject, but yeah,
Because
I
it
mean,
would- I know where you're getting that information from, Blaine.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
Ben Shapiro.
yeah.
Oh.
It's more just like a
But that's
state of mind. Like you can
also-
change
but-
your body, but you can't change the chromosomes that
Yeah.
define you as a male or a female.
Mm. Because it's like it's the disorder where you
The
don't
organs
know
on
what
the
you
inside
are.
is what matters,
Mhm.
not the friggin' outside. Not what your brain thinks. It's what's
Yeah.
there and what's inside you and what you're born with and
The
what
X
you
and
are
Y, the X and X.
from when you're born,
So,
from what the doctor identifies you as,
yeah.
from male genitalia
don't
and
just get to-
female.
You don't
There,
just get to
there's
use
your
your
gender,
imagination.
there's your
Well,
sex.
the
They're
only-
both the same thing. That's it.
Thank you, Caleb. Thank you.
The only exception I have with like the transgender thing is the intersex, where you're born with like
Exact- yeah,
if you're
penis
born with
and a
both, if you're
vagina.
born
So
with
you
both.
literally, yeah, and you don't know if you're going through like male puberty or female puberty yet.
Yeah.
So you seriously like you have no clue what.
And that's what I feel bad for. And that, yeah.
Yeah, because that's a really tough situation for parents to be like, oh, like, do we let this kid grow up with all this extra stuff, or do we cut it off and risk having like a son that has a penis, but then going through like female puberty? You know,
Peebus.
like that would not be good.
Did you just say the P word?
What do you want me to say?
I said-
Cock and balls.
Let's do some P word ASMR.
I said peebus. All right. Any final thoughts?
Huh?
Yeah,
Oh.
well, with the
Oh,
whole transgender
okay.
stuff, I'm still okay with like if you want to believe that you're a dude but you're actually a chick,
Mm.
I don't care. But as soon as you start forcing other people
Yeah,
to have to
yeah.
call you that,
like I'm not gonna pretend, but you can.
I'm not gonna follow your
Exactly.
friggin'. I'm not gonna follow what you think when it changes every other friggin' month, because you can't decide what you want to fucking be.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call you a fucking male or a fucking female if that's what you fucking are.
Jesus. Holy crap.
Now going along
I'm
with
not gonna
that,
automatically change friggin' hey John and then hey Sally, how was your like no.
going with that though.
What do you,
yeah,
okay,
there's
what do you
one-
want me to call you? Let me change all your pronouns in my phone. Hold on.
No, like the exception. Like,
Okay.
I get like if
Her,
you wanna,
she-
like how you identify yourself. That's different. But
Mhm.
actual genders, there is two,
Yes.
and that is a fact.
Factoid of the day.
I was gonna say factoid.
Simple biology. Oh,
Alright, anyways, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I know.
no.
No, all right. So that was my two topics. I figured I'd bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have anything else? Doesn't have to be related to politics. Can be anything.
Oh, no, really.
anything
I
in the
thought that
world.
was pretty good.
Well, I mean, something more like relevant, just the coronavirus in general. I know
Well,
we
yeah.
kind of touched on it last time, but
Oh yeah. Well, there is some new news based on the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Maine did have its first death the other day.
Mm.
yes.
It was an 80-year-old man who I believe already had pre-existing conditions.
Really?
Interesting. You see a lot
But
of
you
news
don't
about
say.
newborn babies dying as well.
Also, but on the flip side of that, there was an Olympic swimmer from South Africa who actually got diagnosed, and he said it's the worst thing he's ever had.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mhm.
kind of looking at
Yeah,
it's different for everyone.
yeah, exactly, kind of looking at both sides of the story.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you never know. That swimmer could have never had any other disease in his life, and then he never could have been sick before, and just boom, it could be like flu-like symptoms,
Yeah.
but he's just overreacting.
Maybe he's never had the flu. It's basically the flu. So
It is the flu,
Mm-hmm.
just not as bad.
With
No, it-
respiratory stuff. No,
yeah.
it's a little bit worse than the flu, not under.
Yes.
It's worse.
And with a higher mortality rate, but that's only
Yes.
because there's no vaccine.
That's because there's no vaccine and
Mhm.
old people are getting it.
Well, it's just everybody's getting it, but the only people really being affected from it, like,
Well,
negatively.
most old people are
Old
vaccinated
people.
from it. From the flu, I mean.
Yeah. It's still not as bad as something like smallpox or measles.
Yeah, not
you
at
know,
all.
the
There have
bubonic
been,
plague,
there have been diseases
H1N1.
way worse that people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hell, Ebola was worse. Even though like only 2 people in America got it.
Oh, yeah. Or 2 suspected cases, although they didn't know if one person actually had it. Read a lot about that.
Well, anyways, thank you for watching and hearing our opinions on these various topics, and hopefully we can hear yours sometime. Anyways, I mean, just share this with people, subscribe, leave a like maybe, and
Yeah,
we'll be
comment
back
what you
next
thought,
time.
of course.
Yeah. And drop ideas if you want to any of us. All of our Instagrams are in like the top banner thing,
Yep.
and yeah,
Yep.
Is that it?
I
Yeah,
think that's it.
All right. Perfect.
Yep, I
Peace.
just shit my pants.